This is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you guys the best juicer you guys could buy for under $100 straight from my heart to you. Now, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is John Colo. I've been juicing now for 31 years. I started my business selling discounted price juicers online 25 years ago now, and more importantly, educating people about all the various juicers so that each person could buy the exact best juicer for them so that they can change their life, turn around their health, lose the weight, get healthier, right? And this is so important to me because juicing is responsible for saving my life. Thanks to Jay Kordich, formerly known as a Juice Man, who got me into juicing in the mid-1990s. I recently had an episode where I reviewed this very juicer, the Our Place juicer, now available at Costco for $129. And if you guys watched that video, you would have saw how this juicer vastly underperformed and how I did not recommend it to people to buy. And instead, of course, I would recommend the best juicer at this time, which is my favorite juicer, the Huram H70 juicer. That machine is about 4.22 times more expensive than the Our Place juicer, even with the coupon. So people had some comments for me actually that I want to read out to you, and I want to respond to it in this episode by showing you guys, instead of the Our Place at $129, what juicer would I recommend for people that can't afford the high-end juicer? And I want to go ahead and also address this person's comments and concerns. All right, so we'll pop up the comment, and it says, from Navy Shredder 5280, of course, a $130 juicer will not match the performance of a $550 juicer. I don't like that you assume everyone can afford a $550 juicer and tell them they aren't serious about their health if they choose the cheaper version. The Costco version is still a solid performer and would make an excellent starter juicer for someone. Any juicer is better than no juicer. According to Money Magazine, half of Americans can't even come up with $500 if they had to. Instead of browbeating people into buying a $500 machine, couldn't you just say, if you want the best performance and it's within your budget, then get the Huram? But if you're just starting your juice journey and on a tighter budget, then the Costco version could be great fit for you. I've had my Nama J2 for 3 years, use it every week and have no regrets, but I can easily afford it along with my $500 Vitamix blender, but most Americans can't afford it. Love you, John, but you come across as a juicing snob when you say someone has to spend $500 if they're serious about their health. I bought my first juicer in 1998 at Goodwill for $25. It fit my needs and my budget at the time. All right, so let me go ahead and respond to this particular comment. I did make a comment response, of course, in the video, but because this is a very important and sensitive topic to me, I want to be clear on my intentions and my beliefs and share them with you guys directly. Also, make sure you guys get a quality juicer because that is what I'm all about, okay? So point one, I could definitely agree with many of the statements that he makes in this comment, although I can disagree with some of these statements as well. So the first thing that he said that is not what I said in the video, although he may have taken it this way. He says, I don't like when you assume everyone can afford a $550 juicer and tell them they aren't serious about their health if they choose a cheaper version. So that's not exactly what I said. You may have heard that, but what I actually said is that if you're serious about your health, you're going to get a quality machine. One of the things my grandfather told me, and I've said this in many videos before, is buy the right tool for the right job, okay? That's what I did say, and yes, I was pitting this machine against a $550 machine with the coupon code that was explained in the video, but I didn't say you have to buy a $550 machine. I said if you're serious about your health and juicing, you will get a quality juicer. That was the message I was trying to get across, and if you took it another way, I apologize. I will try to use my words better in the future. I want to let you guys know that all my videos are completely unscripted, just comes off from the top of my head, and sometimes I misspeak because I'm not perfect. Now, you also said the Costco version is still a solid performer and would make an excellent starter juicer for someone. So, while I could appreciate that is your opinion, that is not my opinion, I don't think it was a solid performer. It made 30% less juice, which is a fair clip less juice. Also is very noisy and loud. And while I do like some of the features it has, such as if you purchase at Costco, besides having the 1-year warranty of the Costco satisfaction guarantee that, as far as I'm concerned, on juicers anyways, doesn't expire, which means you can return it at any time with your receipt for a refund. And I actually said at the end of the episode, if you did watch the end of the episode, I did say at the end of the episode that if you're not serious about juicing, this could be a good juicer to buy, right? And get started if you have a Costco membership, because if it did break down at a later point, you can return it to Costco through the satisfaction guarantee. Of course, your produce cost is going to be 30% more, and the juice is not going to be as nutritious because it doesn't grind up as well. So I'm not necessarily telling people to buy it, but I know some people are not at the point where they want to go jump in 2 feet and they're still tiptoeing in, right? That might be good for them. But in this episode, I'm going to show you guys even a better option. All right. And, of course, you made a comment about Money Magazine and most Americans can't come up with $500. And I definitely can agree with that. What I would say is that a lot of the high-end machines, such as the Huron, they have basically payment programs that people can use. If they do want to get a really good juicer, they will use more and benefit more from on a payment program. In some cases, they don't even charge you any interest. That's why I'm making this video, because I'm sharing my true, honest belief about how, what juicer you should buy if you can't afford a high-end juicer that I promote. Much like an iPhone, people always buy that latest iPhone, and I can't even afford the latest iPhone. $1,600, or I don't even know how much they cost, $1,100. That to me is insane when buying an iPhone. I'm definitely not a cell phone snob, but I will totally accept that I'm a juicing snob for sure. But so many people spend tons of money on their iPhone that they hold up to their head that can probably radiate their brain and do the other things that aren't good for them. Meanwhile, I accept I'm a juicing snob, and while not everybody can buy a high-end juicer like I would like them to, because I've seen that when you buy a juicer that doesn't perform well, is not easy to use, then you stop using it and then you stop getting the benefits. That is the most important thing to me, is that people consume more fresh fruits and vegetables. These are the most healing foods in the entire planet, and they are the most under-consumed foods on the entire planet, especially the leafy greens and root vegetables that people tend not to eat. People will just buy fruits and eat fruits, and that's not really a problem so much. But the vegetables especially, when we could liberate the nutrients out of the cell walls, the hard fibrous cell walls of the vegetables, that's where really juicing can play a huge role in a person's health, and I want them to stick with it and continue juicing, every day, and make it a habit for the rest of their life, not just some fad juice fast that many people do. So the other comment that I want to reply to is that you say that I'm a juicing snob, and I will own that. I am a juicing snob. I've tested all the major brand juicers that are sold in the United States, as well as a lot of the inexpensive ones that are purchased at various places. And I've seen the differences that the quality of materials they're made, like their noise level, how long, and their durability, how long they last, as well as I've read lots of customer reviews from other people's experiences using inexpensive machines, and of course have my own experiences using inexpensive machines myself. When I got into juicing in the 1990s, right, I did buy the Juice Man 2 juicer off the infomercial, but I think even before that, I bought a used juicer and started juicing myself. That was much lower price, but still a name brand juicer. Unfortunately, back in the 1990s, there wasn't a lot of different, brand juicers like we have today. That being said, what I am totally for is for people buying a used machine. What I'm against in this world is imported, inexpensive machines that are designed to fail. These things are not made for durability. They are made to be cheap. And, I don't want people to conflate, like, hey, this is cheap, meaning it's good. So that's why I'm really not giving people the go-ahead and my approval on our place, except in certain situations. if they're not going to juice otherwise, because it is making it easy at Costco. You know, what I'm going to recommend to people are people that are serious about their health to get a quality juicer, you know, that's used. It's not going to have any warranty, but if you're smart about it, you could actually get a very good quality juicer, actually made by Huram, because you know I love Huram. They make the best juicers, although not all the juicers sold have the Huram brand name on it. For example, your juicer that you recommended in your comment is actually made by Huram. And Huram does make the best juicers. I've seen time and time again customers that I've sold Huram made juicers to like 20 years ago writing me in today saying, John, that juicer you sold me 20 years ago is still working, but the screen broke. And then now Omega's not honoring the warranty, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video that we're gonna have to dive into there. All right, so now I want to show you guys a juicer that I would recommend you guys buy if you guys don't have a lot of money but want to start juicing and are serious about your health, right? What I recommend most above all else is getting something quality. Whether you guys are buying a TV, iPhone, you know, a carpet, a piece of furniture, right? In furniture, I don't like those particle board furniture things. Some of you guys may know what those are, some of you guys may not. Those are disposable furniture. Get one made out of real wood or some kind of solid metal, right? Not a big fan of plastic either, you know, and when it comes to juicers, right, buy a juicer that's actually not going to end up in a landfill like a Chinese inexpensive cheap juicer. Instead, I recommend buying a used, right, hopefully like new, name brand juicer actually made in South Korea. Both these machines were made in South Korea, actually at the Huram factory. This actually happens to be one of the older generations of the Huram vertical juicer. You do need to feed in the produce, and I have videos linked down below on how to properly use this machine so it doesn't clog or jam. Of course, the modern juicers that I would recommend will pre-cut things for you, and literally you just spray it off to clean. With this one, you will need to scrub down the screen to clean it. It will take me about 3 minutes because I've cleaned this machine so many times, so it's a bit more of a learning curve. And once again, if you have more you know, time than money, then you want to get a good, well-made used machine. This is another one, also made in the Huram factory. This is the Omega NC800. This is one of my favorite Omega horizontal juicer models that was made in the Huram factory. Other models are the Omega 8003, 8005, 8004, and some 8006 models were made in the Huram factory until Omega moved their production to make their machines in China. Of course, basically all the Huram juicers that were sold in the USA were always made in South Korea, and other machines that you could source that were made in South Korea include the original Samson juicer, as well as some of the different Tribest juicers, the Solo Star, the Slow Star, as well as the Green Star twin gear juicers, can often be found for less than $100. So now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, John, that's great. You're telling us what juice to buy, but how do I find one of these juicers for under $100? I'm going to show you guys how you guys could find them for like $50 to $100, maybe even less, near you, or even get them shipped to you. So I'm going to go ahead and pop open the laptop and show you guys how I would work, because I've helped so many people over the years buy inexpensive juicers when they could not afford the name brand high-end juicer that I recommend most. And you know, this is completely fine with me, right? I want people to get into juicing and get into the juicing habit. And even if they got to start out with an inexpensive machine, buy a quality inexpensive machine instead of a garbage, in my opinion, inexpensive machine. And if the inexpensive machine does break, in many cases you can buy parts, although Omega is out of a lot of parts on some of their juicers these days, which is a whole nother issue for another video. But then at least you'll have something to start off with, and then when you know you're committed to the juicing experience and maybe have some more money, then it's time to upgrade into, you know, a good name brand juicer, and hopefully maybe even one of my favorites at the time that you are ready to do that. So please, before you leave this video, make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't forget about my YouTube channel, because I'm here just to tell it to you guys like it is. After all, I am just a customer myself of juicers. I've tested them all, and I know the industry and have special insight that I get to share with you guys on my channel that you won't hear from any other influencer. So let's go ahead and pop open the laptop and show you guys how to get the best deal under $100 on a good, well-made juicer that will last you, or should last you, for many years to come. All right, guys, so now I'm going to show you guys how to get the best deal for a used quality juicer. You can see them here on my Discount Juicers YouTube channel, but actually you're just going to go to facebook.com/marketplace. And then you're going to check out on Facebook Marketplace and find a used juicer. So the question is, how do you find a good used juicer? So actually I have my location set to Springfield, Missouri, the middle of the country. I go there for the, I'll be there for the National Heirloom Expo this September outside Springfield. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look for select juicers. So, you know, the easiest search, because Omega in the past has sold the most juicers, just search for Omega Juicer. That's going to be your best bet. And look at this. We found one, Omega 8003 in the box, which is a good sign, for $35, right? This is what I want you guys to buy instead of a Our Place juicer for $129, a $35 8003. But when we click on it, check it out. You could look at the pictures, and inside the box, it looks like they have an 8006 motor base with some maybe 8003 juicer parts. Typically, if you find a juicer in the box, that means they've kept it in very good shape and they may not have even used it that much. Even so, you could find other juicers in the similar price range, you know, ranging in price. I mean, here's one for $70, and I want you guys to, you know, look at each juicer and, like, I want you guys to look for the wear. See how dirty the parts are, right? See how dirty the juicer is. This is a telltale sign right here. You see this right around the little hopper there, like right around there. That wearing happens when this little part of the juicer pusher gets pushed in a lot, and then it wears. So we know this juicer has been, you know, more well used. So it might not be the best deal. I always want you guys to look for a used juicer that actually was not used that much. You know, there'll be plenty of people that bought the juicer that wanted to get into juicing to change their health, and they don't do it, and then they sell their juicer for, you know, for cheap. And that's what you're really kind of looking for. Let's see, let's go to this one here. Another 8006 for $75. All the Omega juicers and most Huron juicers on the bottom will actually have the manufacture date. So that could be a good indicator. Keep in mind, of course, when you're buying a used juicer, there will be no warranty. I also want you to look at, you know, what's coming with the juicer. Are you just getting the juicer with some of the collection cups, or are there other parts included? Like this machine, it says wasn't used very much, had it for years, but only pull that out occasionally. Used but in good shape. So I mean, this one looks like it could be a good deal for, you know, $75, and this one for $70. Let's take a look at this. This was made in 2013, but just because it's made in 2013 doesn't mean it's bad. You want to see how much it was used, and like, to me, just looking at some of the plastic parts, it looks like it wasn't used. And of course, if we read it, it says used twice, then became kitchen decor. So it's like, this is what I really want you guys to buy, man. A Huron made juicer for, you know, less than $100. I mean, the cheapest one so far was $35. We could go down. Now, what I don't want you to buy is a machine that is not made in South Korea. So for example, 8003 was made in South Korea. The original 8006 that has the handle like this was made in South Korea. This was made in South Korea. This is the NC 900, also known as the NC 800 in some cases, made in South Korea. Then 8005, made in South Korea. Although this one here was, maybe they could call it an 8006 also, or 8007, depends when they bought it. This one was not made in South Korea. This was one made in China, so I don't recommend this one or this one. You see how the handle is kind of built in, right? You want to look for the handle that has the archway over the top. This is another good one right here. Omega, this is the NC800 red color. That being said, I do want to take a break right now because I want to show you guys another secret on where to get the best deal on a good name brand juicer, actually with a warranty, because if you're going to buy this for $127, I actually wouldn't waste your money, but this is what I would buy. You could go to my Amazon shop. I'll put the link down below to my Amazon shop. This is all the products I recommend. And I actually have a special category for people that want to get a brand new juicer with warranty. And this is my category called below wholesale name brand juicers. Because, you know, I'm here not just to sell you the high end, but also a good affordable machine. This Omega was actually made in China, although formerly had a full 15-year warranty, but now Omega changed the warranty to only 1 year. That being said, both the Omega NC 900s or 800s, you know, have a 15-year motor warranty, but now only a 1-year parts warranty. Once again, I will be covering this in an upcoming episode. Nonetheless, you could buy this brand new Omega juicer right on Amazon for $150. This is what I would want you guys to honestly spend your money on if you can't afford the, you know, the high-end juicer that I use the most. Buy a good solid brand new juicer with a 1-year parts warranty, 15-year motor warranty for $149. It's $20 more than that other machine made in China, but this is actually below wholesale cost because I don't know what Omega is doing. I think they're having a fire sale because they may be in some kind of financial trouble. Nonetheless, let's get back to the used machines. So, you know, if you're buying a used machine, you know, I would try to keep it between $50 and $100. Of course, depending on your area, would depend on if you're going to pay more or less for a juicer. Another juicer I like is this one right here. This is the Omega VRT 350. I mean, when brand new, this one was like around $400, and nowadays a used one listed 4 days ago is $70. Looks like they haven't really used it much. It still has the original sticker on it, a little bit dusty. You will need to wash it off, and make sure you watch my video links down below how to properly use this machine. You know, or you could have a lot of problems with it and you could think it's a piece of junk. That's once again where the new machines come into play. It makes it so much easier to juice and clean. I would not recommend any of these cheap, inexpensive machines that are non-branded, right? Don't buy these non-branded, cheaper machines. It'll basically bite you in the butt later because they will fail, they will break, they won't make as much yield. Here's a Champion juicer. Champion is now out of business. You can get some remaining parts and service for it. I do like how it makes the, you know, the ice cream because it fluffs it up so much. But the blades go dull and it aerates the juice a lot. So I don't recommend those. I recommend a machine made in South Korea these days. So you would search for Omega juicer as I just did. You could also search for Huram juicer. Let's see if we have any Huram juicers here in this area or not. Oh look, here's a Huram H200. That's still out of the price range because once again we're trying to keep it between $50 and $100. So in many cases you're not going to find a Huram because they really didn't sell a whole lot of juicers. You could also try to search for Tribest juicer, and in this case I'm not seeing any Tribest juicers. Looks like the Omega was the easiest one to find so far, and you know, that's pretty much what I'd recommend. Certain model Omegas. And once again, we're in Springfield, Missouri. Let's say you live in Chicago, right? Chicago, Illinois, because you're like, John, you search Springfield, I live in Chicago. Well, let's find Chicago. So we'll do Chicago Omega juicer, right? And like all over the country, you guys could find juicers, you know. Here's an Omega 8005 juicer. It's $80. They're even showing video of it. And look at that. That auger looks like it's brand new. This thing looks like it's brand new, guys. Those screens look like they're brand new, like this guy never used it, right? Crazy. This guy looks like he basically never used it. I mean, that auger would totally discolor if they used it. The 8005 or 8003 is not my first choice. I prefer, you know, the newer 8006. So this model right here. You know, and once again, they got a video. I mean, this is looking in really good shape. This has been used a little bit because I did see right above on the feed sheet they have a little bit of wear. They do, however, have a box. So let's see but it comes with all the parts and the box. So I don't know. Well, which one would I get? That's a good question. But then, I mean, as you see, they have a lot more. I mean, actually, this is the best deal because this is a more newer model, wider feed sheet. That NC 800, which I showed you guys, you could get a new one for $150, but this used one is $80. So once again, guys, I mean, in Chicago, here's an Omega Vert 330. I would prefer the 350 over the 330. Oh, this is the upgraded 330. This is the 330 HD, so this is basically the 350. Given as a gift, I mean, it's probably brand new. You want to look, it still has a sticker on it. Oh, this is, they used a different box. So this is the Vert 330, not the HD, because the screen is still the old screen there. But once again, this looks like it's basically new, guys. I mean, I think this Vert 330 looks definitely more well used. You can see the discoloring of that, you know, and they've used it a little bit more. And you want to try to get the one with the not the white screen. You want to get the one with, like, it's a yellowish colored screen, like this picture, although that was not included in the with the machine. So here's another one, another Vert 350 or 400. That's the screen you want. Once again, has a sticker on it. This one also looks like it's in very good shape. I mean, basically, once again, like I told you guys, people will buy a high-end juicer. They are well-meaning. They want to juice. They use it 2 or 3 times, and they just stop juicing, which I think is sad. But you can benefit from their loss. And, oh, don't buy, whatever you do, don't buy an NC1000 that's made in China. Don't buy the 8007 made in China, especially the NC1000 or the MM900, MM1500. Those are made in China and have major issues with breakage. Major issues with breakage. You will regret that purchase. Yeah, this style is basically the Chinese knockoff of the NC800 right here. Let's see what other deals. Oh, the VSJ843. That was my favorite juicer for many years. A little bit overpriced in my opinion. I would go for a VRT for like 40 or 50 bucks versus this one for 200. Or you could try to offer them less money, of course. All right, so you guys can see in Chicago, we were successful. Let's try another area. Let's go to Los Angeles. See if we can find a good juicer there. All right, I mean, first thing that pops up, we got an NC800 for 80 bucks. We got an 8004 for $30. I don't know if this one's complete. Let's see, 8006 for $80. Like, looks basically brand new, guys. I mean, this is really truly what I would want you guys to purchase if you guys are looking for a juicer. The VRT 350, $100. Here's a Vert. Oh, don't get the 370 model. That's the one made in China. You want the Vert 350 or the Vert 400. Oh, this one's an excellent deal right here. This is the Omega VSJ843, my favorite juicer. Selling it for $45. Looks like there's some pieces missing, so you'd want to make sure that is complete. But yeah, I mean, all over the place you guys could find you know, good juicers. We could look for Samson juicer. It's another thing you guys could look for. Let's see if we find any Samson juicers. No Samson juicers. We could search for a Tribest juicer. No Tribest juicers. I mean, I think your best luck, guys, is going to be the Omega, honestly, because they sold the most juicers, and especially as of later years, they were clearing them out for a really good price. And they're going to be the easiest to find. I mean, I think, oh, here's a Huram juicer, $50. This is the first generation Huram juicer, like the VRT 350. Once again, this is $50. I mean, I'd prefer you guys get one of those. I mean, the Huram juicers will last for many years to come for sure. Let's try another area. Let's try Miami. Omega juicer, I would stay away from the cube. Once again, made in China. This one's made in China. This one's made in South Korea. That'd be a good deal. But for that price, you could get that new one that I showed you guys a little bit earlier. This is a good deal. 8006 for 75 bucks. Might be missing the feed chute. I would offer them less. Let's see, that's made in China. This one's made in South Korea. Let's see what else looks good here to me. This one right here, 50 bucks, Boca Raton. They just say juicer. This is the VRT 400. Looks like it has a little bit of wear there, but 50 bucks if you want to get a nicer one there. Here's a 350 for $100. 120. Yeah, so I mean, you just got to do your research, guys, and be prudent. Let's go to let's go to Phoenix. We'll go to Phoenix now. Even in Phoenix, guys, there's an 8004, 70 bucks. Omega juicer, Chandler, $100. $75 Chandler. I think it's a VRT 350. And now I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, John, that's great. I live in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you might have to drive, you know, a little bit to find a juicer. Let's try Denver. I mean, if you're by a big city, you're most likely going to be in luck and to be able to find a decent machine. I mean, look at this. In Denver, you guys are in pretty good shape. Vert 330S in the box, brand new, $45. I mean, guys, this is what I want you guys to buy if you guys are looking for a juicer. Don't buy the, you know, one from Costco. Buy a like brand new Omega juicer or a little used Omega juicer. I've shared with you guys how to find them. This is not rocket science. You guys need to do the homework. Now, of course, I want you to be safe when you guys are making any transactions from online and you have to meet in person. So be as safe as you possibly can. Here's a VSJ843 for $75. Once again, this is my favorite machine. Looks like there's a fair bit of wear on some of these parts here on the bowl. But these machines basically last a long time. This is, once again, made by Huram for Omega. Of course, if you guys are buying it used, you will not get a warranty. And I like how Omega said on the box, full 15-year warranty. And now Omega, unfortunately, is claiming it's a 15-year warranty only on the motor and 1 year on the parts. I'll be covering that in a future episode. I do only recommend slow juicers at this point. They, you know, create a more nutritious juice than something like a high-speed juicer, such as this original Omega 4000. Actually, that was made in the United States when Omega did make their machines in the United States. Later, they made some of the 4000s actually out of the country, but that's the original one, which is cool. But yeah, you can see there's just tons of Omegas, 50, 50, 70, 60, $20. That's a Chinese made one, don't buy it. 80. I mean, this is, you could find maybe a better one and try to bargain them down, but once again, get one made in South Korea. This was a funky color they made for a while. Once again, this was made in South Korea, funny blue color. I don't care about the color myself, but all over the place, right? 8006, $89 still in the box. Looks like it's a bit more well used on that one. But nonetheless, so I know what you're thinking. Thinking, John, that's great. Some people, if you live in Boulder, Denver, Arizona, Miami, you know, LA, big cities, you guys could find juices. But for those of you guys out in the sticks, I mean, search the nearest, largest city near you. You should be able to find something. But even if you can't, there's always eBay. And eBay, of course, you do not have to leave the comfort of your home and just search for Omega Juicer. And then see what it comes up with, right? This first one, Omega is now going low end, so they're making a lot of low end Chinese made machines. Second one is the NC800, right? 94 plus 31. That's not a good deal because I showed you guys on Amazon. You guys can get this for $150, brand new with a 1 year warranty, 15-year warranty on the motor. Although it says industry leading 15-year coverage on parts and performance, which now Omega is gonna deny, which that's a whole nother topic for another video. And I don't agree with that. But what could I do? I mean, here's an 8006 you could get shipped to you for $50, guys. $50 or best offer. And then there's shipping of 14 bucks, right? Or depends on where you live. And, you know, you're going to want to look at the parts particularly. And once again, you want to look for the wear right around this area. So this looks like to be a well-used machine. You can see the cleaning brush is starting to wear out on that side. You can see the auger has some staining. Doesn't mean it's bad, right? It just means it was well used, and I would encourage you guys to look for a machine that has less use. You can see the sieve was used a lot of mineral deposits on there. I mean, this is not my first choice for a machine I would want to buy. I mean, it looks like the motor looks like it's in good shape, and of course, on every bottom of the machine, Omega will tell you when it's made, so it's always better to get one that was made more recently. This was made December 2013, and just because it's over 10 years old, right, these machines last, right? These are made in Korea, made in the Huram factory. Huram makes quality machines that last, not cheap throwaway things that are made in China. I mean, if I can't stress anything enough, that is what I want you guys to really realize when watching this episode. I mean, once again, here's an 8006. This is the newer 8006 model made in China. I do not recommend buying this model, right? Even if it's cheaper or whatever, right? don't buy this model. You're likely to have more issues with it. I don't recommend these. I only, once again, recommend Korean-made Huram brand-made products. This, once again, VRT 330, a little bit overpriced in my opinion, especially when you got to pay for shipping, but made in Korea. This one's made in Korea, South Korea. This NC800 is made in South Korea. I mean, you could scroll through here all day. Don't buy the Megamouth BMJ. That's a high speed and has lots of issues. The classic 9000 is that looks like one made in America. But yeah, I mean, here's an 8006 made in South Korea in the box. Could even be almost new. Basically, it's going to be a little bit over $100 shipped to you if you guys don't live, you know, somewhere where you can buy it. Oh, look, here's a brand new VRT 330 for $140. I still get that over the Costco juicer, but here's one 8003 for $40, but then you got a bunch of shipping. Yeah, so I mean, guys, I mean, this is, once again, this MM1500 made in China. Don't buy it. It's going to break on you. You're going to have lots of problems with it. NC800, overpriced. NC800, overpriced. Buy a new one. But I mean, if you scroll, here's one, $45 plus shipping. Depending on where you live, the shipping may be more or less. Once again, made in South Korea. Once again, here's another one, 8006. Solid performer, guys. Lasts for a long time. $48 plus $35. 8003. I mean, you just got to do some scrolling, guys. Here's one, $75. Pre-owned, tested. $75. Yeah, actually, this is the one that I showed you, the Huram. It was the same model sold by Omega, 112, the VSJ. Here's one for $45, 8005, made in South Korea, 8005, once again, made in South Korea, too much money. I mean, and once again, you want to look at the detail. Here's one $60. Let's take a look at this. All right, I like when they have detailed parts pictures and you want to go in. This one's in pretty good shape. You guys could see right here, this area, there's a little bit, that's where like the main grinding happens, a little bit of use. We want to look at the screen, not a lot of use on that. This piece will get really cloudy. It's not super cloudy. So you want to look for indicators of, you know, more or less use. I want to see a picture of, this was made March, looks like, is it 2016 maybe? That's not too bad. It's like 10 years old. I want to see the funnel. I want to look downwards at the funnel. If we can see that, that looks, the sorbet attachment looks almost brand new. I want to see the funnel from up top so I could see any wear on the funnel. You can't really see because I need the pusher out of there. But nonetheless, I mean, this one looks like a pretty good shape, guys. So I mean, this is how you guys could find a, you know, hopefully minimally used juicer for under $100. Anywhere is, once again, from 50 to 100 is my estimation, is what you should be paying for one of these. And of course, you could get lucky and find one that's brand new in the box. You may have to pay a little bit more depending on where you live, or go to eBay to get one shipped to you guys. But honestly, this will serve you a lot better than a cheap Chinese juicer ever would. All right, guys, so at the end of this episode, I really want to share with you guys, you know, once again, I encourage you guys to buy quality over cheap. Even if it's cheap as new, some of those used juicers that I showed you guys were basically brand new, used once or twice, right? I've sold many juicers to people that use them once or twice, and then they keep them for a while, and they finally end up selling them for, you know, literally pennies on the dollars, right? This is what I want for you guys, instead of buying a cheap Chinese-made machine that will burn out. And also, of course, these machines are cheaper. I mean, some of the machines, I think the cheapest Omega I saw was like $35. We're going to say $50, and at $50, you know, that's definitely the best investment you guys could make in your health to get the fresh juice in you. You know, juicers like this style, you do need to pre-cut and drop items in. Once again, links down below so you will use it properly and not have problems like the modern juicers of today. But that is the trade-off you're going to get when you get a less expensive machine. But once again, made in South Korea. You know, I listed a lot of model numbers, so you might want to go back to the video and write down the model numbers I recommend you buy. So if you guys don't know the different model numbers to look for, and of course Omega is your best bet, you want to email the person selling the machine and have them look on the bottom of the machine for the label on where it was made. All the juicers that are made in South Korea will say made in South Korea or made in Korea. And then it's either going to be a Huram juicer, made in the Huron factory. Kuvings juicer, made in the Kuvings factory. There's a brand like the L'Equip for a while. They made, Kuvings made the visor for them. Also the Samson juicer or the Tribest juicers also were made in South Korea. Like basically I've seen over time the South Korean juicers will last for many years, especially the ones made by Huron, such as this Omega NC800, of course, also made in South Korea. You know, so I encourage you guys to purchase quality over cheapness. And in this case, you guys could get quality made in South Korea for $50, as low as $50, as I showed you guys in this video, in most cities around the country, right? And then I want you guys to get juicing and use a juicer until it fails. The other thing, if you're kind of more smart, you might want to look in to see if parts are available for that machine. But honestly, at the prices that Omega charges for some of the parts, like some of this, the juicing screen could cost you $30, $40 plus shipping. At that point, honestly, I'll tell you guys, it's just cheaper to buy another used machine to get the parts and keep all the extra parts. It's probably a better deal than trying to buy brand new parts from Omega, because once again, on a used machine, you won't have any parts to know. And then this is funny to look at. My NC800 has this much use. You can see the, you know, the wearing on this, and then let's see around my little spout thing, it's not that worn. And then inside here, you might see a little bit of staining, but I keep my juicers in pretty good shape. So yeah, this would be a good machine to buy if it was like 50 bucks or even 100, because I've definitely taken care of it. But nonetheless, you know, that's the pretty much moral of this episode, is buy quality, you know, not cheap Chinese things. They're going to end up in American landfills over time. Even if you can return it at Costco, Costco is basically going to charge back the vendor, and then the machine's going to end up being disposed of and then go to auction somewhere or end up in a landfill once again. When if you guys bought something like a Huron made juicer by Omega or by other brands that have resold Huron juicers in the past, or Korean made juicers, you know, it's going to last 10, 20 years, especially if it has very low or no use on it. These machines are quite durable. The most important thing is that you use it properly. If you start trying to cram things in there too fast, that's when the machine can break. So once again, watch the video I made on how to juice like a pro in any vertical slow juicer, link down below to that. And I, of course, also have videos on how to use the horizontal auger juicers so that you don't break them as well, and use them in the best ways to extract the most juice, right? And you guys could save the most money and not have to buy my favorite juicer, which at present time is the Huron H70. You guys want to learn more about the H70, my favorite juicer right now, link down below to that video. But once again, I want to be inclusive and get people more into juicing, and you can do that with machines that cost as low as $50 you guys could find online. And I showed you guys how to discern which ones are going to be the best deal. If you guys enjoyed this content and liked where I share my expert thoughts on buying the best juicer for under $100, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, more importantly, share this with other friends and family members that you know that can't afford the name brand juicer that's brand new with the warranty. That is a state-of-the-art technology. Even if you get a juicer that's 10 years old like these, they still produce quality juice almost like the ones of today, because these machines from South Korea grind up the produce better to a finer particle size to extract more nutrition in the juice, unlike the Chinese, basically, I call them knockoff products. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you stay up to date on all the free information, knowledge, and juicer testing and reviews and comparisons I do, as well as sharing with you guys the best appliances to process your fruits and vegetables in the best ways to maximize their health benefits, so you and your family could get healthier. So make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out as well. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 900 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to reviewing all the different major brand juicers and other juicers so you guys can make the best purchase for you. Links down below to some of my favorite videos I made in the past with the Huron H70, which is my current favorite juicer as the world's #1 juicing snob. And I'm proud of it. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.